I'm Teryn Darling, and you're listening to a Tatter-a-Fact here at Girlz Ink. Welcome. I'm happy to have all of you. And today, my guest is my very good friend from a long time ago. And I just hung with her in Sydney, and her speech motivated me to do something that maybe a lot of you need to be motivated to do. And this podcast and talking to her will do for you, motivate you. So let's welcome Leann Law. Hey, Leann.
Yay. Thank you so much, Teryn.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me on.
Yeah.
I absolutely adore you. You are one of those people in the industry that I have looked up to for years and years. So to be here and to be, meeting you at all the conferences and getting to sit down and chatting with you in Sydney, that was, where were we? Oh my gosh, Australia. Somewhere.
Yeah. I think, Brisbane.
Brisbane.
Yeah, Brisbane, Australia. I know.
Yes.
Well, you do a lot of conferences, and I can see why, because you're a really good speaker. You're very engaging. You're warm. You're funny. And your lecture that you're doing. I don't know if you do the same maybe same topic, but it's always different a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah. But is really great information, right? Not all lectures. Some of them are a little spammy and they're just promoting themselves. I'm just being honest. Some of
I
them,
love the honesty.
Some of them are, and but then there's some speakers that get up there and they really give their heart and they really give good information that the artist sitting in the audience that paid a lot of money for that ticket, possibly airfare and hotel, can bring back to their studio, apply and put to work right away and improve something either about their skills, themselves, their marketing, their business. And that's what I always try to bring to the stage and to the conferences. And you certainly do, Leann. So I can see why you're really popular, and you would get confused on where the hell you are and where the hell you go to dinner with people. But
I'll never forget dinner with you and Kat.
Yes.
That was seriously one of the highlights of my trip. And Chandler and I can't stop talking about how much fun we had, and we're definitely going to come to Vegas and try to steal.
It was awesome. Dinner was awesome. It was right on the water in Brisbane, and it was great. It was great. All right. So you are really into marketing, and not just marketing, but AI marketing. Now, let me ask you this. Were you always into marketing, or was it when AI came about is when you got super interested and became like a master and wanted to start educating people on that? Was it always marketing, or just when kind of AI surfaced?
I've always enjoyed marketing. That was actually my major in college, was marketing. So even simple social media back in the days, 10 years ago, for example, getting on Instagram, even the simple just posting on social media was huge to grow my little business. Who else was going to get to know about me if I didn't use those tools to promote my business? And I felt like that's such an important topic, because as artists, we tend to focus so much on the art.
Right. And
I feel that if we don't also focus on the marketing, that it's going to be really hard to grow our business. And so, that's the reason why I love marketing, and that's why I've always kind of been into it. But when AI became available, I was just blown away at how much easier it made my life. Because I'm sure, Teryn, as we can all relate, being an artist, you are busy, right? We're so busy. We're busy doing clients. We're busy doing our classes and educating. We're busy running the back end of our business. Some of us don't have that extra help.
Right.
So we're wearing all the hats. We're doing so many different things. And what AI did for me, I feel is just made my life easier. Mm-hmm. And allowed me to be able to create more without so much extra time that I had to put out on top of all the things I'm already doing. So that for me was why I embraced AI. I get scared too of like new things.
Yeah, I was going to ask you like, and I think most, I would say probably 95% of the industry of artists out there do not have someone assisting or someone at the front desk or even a virtual receptionist. I think most artists are all by themselves trying to do everything. And if one thing's going to slack, it's going to be their social media and their marketing, because they're intimidated by social media, right? They're intimidated. A lot of people are really intimidated to get behind the camera, to do a reel, to get on social media. So it's funny you mentioned like you get afraid of things at first. So were you like the minute AI like launched and it became available, were you on it right away? Like, how did you first start integrating AI into your PMU business? Was it baby steps, or was you just like, oh my God, AI, what is this beast? And you just brought it on and started playing with it?
Yeah. When I first heard about ChatGPT, and it was really when it came out, I just understanding a little bit about ChatGPT and knowing that it was something new. I just jumped on it. I was like,
you just jumped right on it.
I just jumped right on it. As much as I was like, another new tool, I was just like, let me at least explore to see what it can do.
Yeah.
So I did jump on it right away and got into the program and just started putting in random things. When it's new to you, you have no idea. I'm like, let me just mess with it and see what I can discover, see how it can help. And so when it first launched, it was like giving me some weird things.
Like a little glitchy, yeah.
Yeah. At first I was like, I wouldn't say that, as far as like, I would tell it to give me a caption. And it really did sound like ChatGPT. It sounded right. It wasn't me. It didn't sound like me. So even though I got into it at first, I was kind of like, this is really cool. But at the same time, some of the responses didn't really resonate with me. So I didn't totally use a lot of it at first. Mm-hmm. But I kept kind of like every couple weeks, every few months, I would get back in there and kind of check it out again, ask it a few more questions, and then started going on YouTube and really going down the rabbit hole and digging a little bit more and learning more about the actual, I call it's kind of like a Google to me.
Yeah.
I feel like it's where I get a lot of my answers. And I can now really tailor it to me. And we can talk more about that and how to do that. But I treat ChatGPT now as kind of like as an assistant.
I was going to say, so I'm going to be like transparent, with my listeners, and admit that although my team, like Olivia and Sarah, were using ChatGPT, we call it Gigi. Because I can never remember the letters. It's a lot, like ChatGPT or GTP. I would always like messing up the last letters. And Olivia's like, we just call her Gigi. So we call it, right? So they were utilizing it like crazy already for, marketing purposes and diving in and really learning it to elevate our company and our business. Kat was on it, helping her respond to some business emails that maybe she wasn't quite sure how to respond. And because in business, sometimes, you have to respond in a way that's firm, but, and so she would use it to help be firm, get her point across, and it started really helping her with things like that. But I was still not on it. Didn't have an account, wasn't on my phone, wasn't on my computer, not using it at all. And had no desire or interest in it, to be honest with you, Leann. And then we're in Sydney, and I'm watching your lecture, and you start talking about it, and you were very engaging. The way you pulled it up on your phone Like your phone was almost like a live view, right? It had your phone on the big screen, and you would type something into GG. Let me just call it GG because I'm going to fuck up the letters. What is it? Chat GPT, right? Chat GPT. What's a GPT stand for? Chat generated.
I don't even know.
What's GPT stand for, Olivia? No one even freaking knows what GPT stands for. She's going to Google it.
Yeah. That's what you do nowadays.
Well, I think once we get the answer from Chat GPT from Gigi, I think you need to incorporate that into your lecture so we know what the GPT was. It
chat generated pre-trained transformer.
Generated pre-trained transformer. Yeah, say that 3 times.
That's good to know.
That is good to know. But do we really need to know it?
I just say it's my assistant.
My assistant. Right. So anyway, you're up there giving a lecture and you're typing stuff into Chat Gigi, and like chat, Gigi, give me like a week's worth of like content and make it sound fun. I'm a PMU artist, blah, 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 blah. And you're giving it all these details and it just like spewed out like a week's worth of content, of ideas. And I'm like, oh my God. Do you know how long I sit around trying to think of ideas or even topics for podcasts, you know? And then that really caught my interest. And I was really like zoned in on your whole lecture. And I thought, this is, shame on me. This is really, I got to get into this. And immediately, I think it was that night or the next night, I downloaded it, got it on my phone, and I jumped into the world of AI. And I've been using it ever since. So I really have you to thank for introducing me to AI. So I'm wondering if I'm like a lot of other people to where it kind of freaked me out. Like you can go on like a news program and then they talk about how scary AI is and it's going to take over the world and all this stuff.
That's what we think, right?
Yeah, that's what we think. And so I don't know if that had something to do with it or, maybe, people like my generation were like the last ones to jump on new technologies. But I'm here to tell you that if you are not using AI, then you are missing out. So let me ask you this. Was there a moment, or can you remember a defining moment that it just clicked that AI not just could, but AI was going to help you grow your business, which is Fuzion Artistry? Was there a moment it just clicked, oh my God, ChatGPT is just it's going to help me grow my business. This thing is going to grow my business.
Absolutely. I feel like going back to content creation, I feel is a huge part of our business. For us to really get out there and be able to connect with our audience, connect with our potential clients. And it takes a lot of time out of our day to really plan content. And so for me, I'm like, if I have an assistant who can do a lot of that work for me, that would just make my life so much easier. So when I discovered how much ChatGPT, just a simple tool like that, could help me with content creation, I remember being able to go into ChatGPT. So there's like, I don't know if you remember this from my talk, but on the bottom left corner where they have the 3 dots on the bottom when you're inside of ChatGPT, if you click on it, there's a section on there where you can actually type in your entire business, like everything about your business. Yes,
and I did that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like who you are, your business, if like your pigment line, or if you have any products. I'm a part, my tag. Yes.
It's like telling ChatGPT, telling Gigi all about you and your business so that when it responds to you, it actually knows a lot about you already. Right. So you're not having to retell it, all the things that you want it to know.
Right.
So when I discovered that, I felt like, oh my gosh, this assistant now knows my business. And I can actually go in there and say, look, I'm looking to do, let's say, a series for my Instagram this week. Because I like to plan content usually like 1 to 2 weeks out. I don't usually go a month or 2 months out. So I'll say something like, please help me create a series for my Instagram reels. So I get very specific, because do you want reels or do you want a carousel?
Yes.
So the more specific you can get, I feel like the better the output it will give you.
Right.
More information, the better. So now that it already knows the general Fuzion artistry, like what we do, what kind of services we offer, what our specialty is, what our target audience is. Once it knows all that about me and I tell it, hey, I want to create a series on Instagram for the next 2 weeks, and I want it to be about, content about my business and education for let's say I want to target for students. I want to, promote my classes. I can say, I want the series to be about helping new artists build a career in permanent makeup.
Mm-hmm.
So you can literally put that in, and then boom, it spits out 2 weeks worth of content ideas.
Right.
And then I'll take the ideas and then I'll go more in depth. So let's say it gives me 2 weeks of ideas. Then I'll say, okay, let's start with idea 1. Give me, now that we have the topic, I would like you to give me a script for 60 seconds on a video I can create that is going to help my students how to create ombre brows. Let's just say something real simple, right? Ombre, when it comes to ombre brows, this is how I do it. So then it knows how I create the ombre brows and the tips that I want it to give to the students. So then I can put in my 3 tips, and then it'll spit out a whole script for my video for the first week. And then I just have to read the lines and then shoot the video. And it literally takes my planning from like, usually before, to make one video, it could take me 2, 3, 4 hours to do.
Right.
Now I can plan my 2 weeks of videos in like maybe 20, 30 minutes or less.
Well, you know what I noticed? It will even give, right. And it will even give you a suggestion on the reel, what type of video.
Yes. And how to shoot your video.
And how to shoot your video.
Yeah. What kind of props do I want in it?
Yes. It will tell you all that.
Give me the props. Should I do a talking head? Should I use B-roll? I mean, it gets so detailed.
It does get detailed. And what I have found about it, the more you use it, the more it gets to know you. So, cause I'm a little, I'm professional, but I am a little edgy and a little rock and roll and a little flirty, fun, but super professional, right? And authentic. So that's, what I put in, typed in my thing and how I want to come across. So, and sometimes it nails it, but then sometimes I would say most times I go in and I even tailor it. Like I'll take what it spit out, but then I'll go in and I'll kind of change it around a little bit and really super tailor it to be me. So
that's what I always say too, Teryn, is like when you're using ChatGPT, when it spits out the output, I always feel like go in, tweak it with your own voice. And then if you're still not happy with it, take what you tweaked, put it back in and say, this is more of my voice. Right. Make it even better. Yeah. And then it'll give you something else, but more your voice. Yeah. So I think a lot of listeners, if they have students and they want to attract more students, like they've got super awesome teaching skills, they're great teachers, but they're just not good at the content. Right. I mean, this could really help them. Because they can do voiceovers. They don't even have to be in front of the camera. Yeah. That's what I was that's what I was going to get to, is because there's a lot of people that really have anxiety with being in front of the camera. So you can actually do voiceover and have such great written content and ideas, unique ideas using ChatGPT that you don't necessarily have to be in front of the camera and still get good engagement. I wanted to ask you, do you notice a difference in engagement between non-AI generated content
versus AI generated content? Do you personally notice any difference in engagement?
I actually, I haven't felt like it's a big difference, but I usually will tweak a little bit of whatever AI tools I'm using. I kind of put my own spin on it. For example, like if it's a caption, I usually just don't copy and paste exactly what it says. I'll usually go in there, make a few little changes here and there to adjust it. But as far as like if you're using more in image or video just straight from AI, I do feel like it's not as engaging for people on social.
Yeah.
I do feel like it does affect it a little bit. I think people are still like not wanting full AI everything. They still are missing that,
that personal feel. Yeah, I agree with you. And things can feel too AI. And we're going to talk about that in a little bit. I have a little segment that I wanted to talk to you about that with. So so we know that it can be fantastic for creating Instagram content for Facebook, whether you're trying to attract students because you're a teacher or clients, right? So can AI be used to attract more of the artist's ideal client?
Absolutely. Because I feel like a lot of times we get lost in figuring out who our target audience is. We get lost in figuring out what the real pain point is with our ideal client. And what I feel that ChatGPT has also helped me with was really like narrowing in on those pain points. Because sometimes we create content not thinking, we create it for us and not always for our clients. Right. And so I think that what it's helped me with was really like talking to my clients and not just saying whatever it is that I want to say. So I target more of their pain points. And what you can do inside of ChatGPT is just really asking and narrowing down who that target audience is, what their pain points are, and allowing ChatGPT to really help that messaging part of it.
Right.
Because sometimes we're not that creative in the way we say things. And you can really use AI to help you structure those sentences or structure those messages to be more relatable to your clients.
Right.
And I think just straight out, asking for those different things inside of ChatGPT is so helpful instead of sitting there trying to be creative with your words.
Right. And you can sit there and stare at the computer trying to come up with a message, right? For hours and still not, and then post it after spending hours and then you get 2 likes, do you know?
Yeah. And then you're tired and you don't want to keep posting. And that's why people stop showing up on social media because they feel like, oh my gosh, I put all that effort in. It took me, it took me 2 hours to write that caption.
Yeah, there's no
likes.
Yeah, there's no ROI. They're getting no ROI on their investment, their time and investment in marketing and their messaging. And I think probably the industry, most of the industry is probably, I might be wrong, but comprised of artists that are not teaching yet, right? They're not quite at that stage of teaching yet. So, and so I think for most of the industry where ChatGPT can really make a difference is attracting the client, the more ideal client, the client that's going to resonate with them and want their services and help them build their clientele and their revenue, because that's probably most of the industry, right? And then you have the level up with the artist who's skilled and experienced enough now that's training, and then you have the level up there and the level up, and the levels keep going. But I think most of the industry is that 1 to 4 year artist that's just not quite training yet, and so it can really help them develop their messaging. And don't you think it can also, like I do some private coaching, right? Like I don't really advertise, and I don't do like, these coaching. I don't have a coaching platform or format or nothing like that. But I'll just get people to reach out and they want to do like a mentoring call with me, Zoom calls with me. And then that might turn into a second, a third, and a fourth, because they want someone to talk to bounce things off. And one thing that I hear a lot is the newer artists, whether they're 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, sometimes they're 3 or 4 years in, and they're still really struggling with their brand voice, developing their brand voice. So can AI help an artist? First of all, I'm going to ask you a two-part question. Is it important? Is it important for the artist to develop a brand and a brand voice? And how can AI help an artist develop that brand and that brand voice?
First question, answer to your first question, I think it's very important to develop a brand and a brand voice, because that's what people will remember you for.
Right.
For example, like if for Fuzion Artistry, like we always say, like we are a place where clients can come and be able to trust the artistry, trust the artist. We really try to be educational so that we can educate the clients on just the process of permanent makeup. So there's a lot of things like what's important to you. For us, it's honesty, it's being transparent, it's being, just genuine, and our clients come first. Like those are the different things that you want to think about when you're thinking about your own brand. Not just the colors, right? It's like, what do people remember about you?
Yeah.
And then of course, the fonts and the colors, like those are always great added things.
Yeah, key components, right?
Yeah.
But I think
think it's important, but it's also even more important, just like really being able to have that voice, like them being able to really relate to you as an artist.
And kind of know who you are, even though they may have not met you.
Correct.
But
they feel like they know.
Yeah,
you.
they come across your
Like they trust you.
exactly. They come across your Instagram account or your website, and they feel like they know you, or they have a really good idea of who you are and what you're about. I think it's really probably most important now, with especially that your brand and your brand voice stands out. So you stand out. Because there's, the industry is big and vast now. There's so many talented artists, right? And only so many clients to go around. I mean, if you think about it, I mean, our clients don't have to come back every 2 weeks. Sometimes our clients are not coming back for 2, 3
years
or more years.
Yeah.
So I think it's really important. And so I agree with you. I think like ChatGPT can really help someone develop their brand voice, maybe come up with colors, fonts, a logo, because not everybody that becomes a really skilled PMU artist is creative in that space, developing a brand.
Exactly.
They don't.
It's as easy as really just when I use ChatGPT, or now there's also a few other ones, but Perplexity is also good. Have you heard of Perplexity?
No, I've just been like totally loyal. I'm only dating Gigi, like for the moment. Yeah, but I may
Gigi's great.
I may step out on her though. Yeah, I may step out on her, but if you tell me to step out on her, Leann, I'm gonna step out on her. But right now, she's my only girl.
Some people love there's always those different preferences.
But then you gotta keep up with the lies and the stories, and if you're juggling two AIs.
Let's stick with Gigi for now.
I'm just gonna stick with Gigi for now, so I don't get into trouble.
So it's as simple as like really just asking Gigi, like, look, I own a permanent makeup business And I want to really work on developing my brand voice and my brand. Like, you want to talk to Gigi.
It's
like,
that easy.
It's that easy.
I think
like
some people don't
we think,
understand it. Yeah.
We think, oh, what about those fancy prompts? You don't need a fancy prompt.
Right.
You need to talk to Gigi like she's your bestie, and that she is one of your smartest besties.
Yeah.
And you're going to feed her all your thoughts, all your wants, all your needs. And then she's going to really help you develop that.
Yeah.
Step by step. And don't be so general. Just start with one question at a time.
Right.
And then based on the answer, feed her some more of your questions and your ideas. And I think that's where I find Gigi to be so helpful is being able to talk to her and almost like she's my brainstorming partner. So I'll start off with a simple request. Like, I really want to build my brand this year. And I want it to be, this is what I think my branding is. Like, what would you suggest? What do you need to know from me? Ask me all the questions you need to get to know me better so that you can help me build my brand voice.
Right. So I don't think people understand that they can actually use it in that way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's very helpful for me when I use it.
Yeah. Well, it's powerful.
Yeah.
It's powerful. I don't think people understand how powerful AI is and how much it can really get to know you and help you. And I'm still in that discovery mode. I'm I'm still impressed. She's still impressing me because I'm diving deeper and deeper and deeper, right? Because I only saw your lecture in October, and I've been on the road and, here and there. And so I'm still getting to know it and what it's capable of. So I know I haven't even fully unwrapped like its full potential. Do you, Olivia, do you feel you've unwrapped its full potential? She's over there. Yes. Oh, yes, I have. Oh, yes, I have.
Now it's like doing images and everything too.
I just saw that. I haven't attempted to do any images or anything yet. Have you, Olivia?
I've had it try to plan out like a room for me.
God.
Like kind of like I wanted to decorate like a room. And so I put in there, like, it's, this size room. I want it to be, these colors, and it'll like give you a visual image.
Oh, that's so fun. You know what I did? The other night I was on the couch and I was watching a surfing show, some surfing show. And I was in ChatGPT doing something. And I saw the image thing. And so, you know what I tried to do? I uploaded a picture of me and then a picture of my new OMG Bishop machine, the wand. And I told Gigi, put me on the machine like I'm riding it. Like, yeah. And it did. But my face was all like me on the machine was great if you cut off my face. But because my face was all wonky. It was like flat. It didn't look like me. Yeah, so I redid
it there. It needs a little more time.
So I think that part is not quite refined. It's still a little wonky, but when you first started getting on there for your marketing, it was a little wonky and not as refined. It's getting smarter and better and better and better every single day.
All the time.
Yeah.
Yes.
So let me ask you this: do you are there AI tools that can help the PMU artists analyze like market trends and client behaviors?
Market trends and you can, like I said, you could
just ask ChatGPT
inside ChatGPT. There are different tools. There's so many different ones
besides ChatGPT, right? There's other AI tools.
Yes.
One in particular you turned me on to was what is it again? Opus something, yeah.
The Opus Clip. That's the one.
Opus Clip.
the videos.
Yeah.
Where it cuts your long form videos and turns it into short form videos. It almost like knows which areas to take out.
Yeah.
That'll do well for short form.
Yeah.
Another one is if we're just talking about different AI tools in general, that is helpful in, a lot of things. It's captions. Have you tried the Captions app?
Have we tried? No, we haven't tried to see them a little.
Captions is great.
Okay, we got to try that.
So Captions, it does like so many things. There's actually a section in there where it'll help you write your scripts as well. But what Captions is really great for is creating captions for your videos. It'll generate those really cool captions that like have different animations and different colors so that you're not having to go in there. Like if you use CapCut, for example, it's a little bit more time consuming to do the captions. But if you use the Captions app, it'll generate it in these really cool fonts and these different effects. Makes it so much faster. It also corrects the eye. So let's say you're doing a video. So for artists who can't really focus and speak off the cuff, and you want to use like a short script to do your video, you can actually upload the script into the Captions app, and you can read the
like a teleprompter
captions, just like a teleprompter.
Yeah, that's cool.
Then if your eyes are kind of off after you're done with it, you can actually do they correct the eyes so that the eyes look good looking at the camera.
So if your eyes are moving back and forth reading the script, the AI app will actually correct your eyes. That is crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It does like so much. And then you can even record yourself talking. And then let's say that day you didn't want to get ready to do a video. You can actually type a script and have your AI, like actual you, do the talking. It's like, it's not perfect yet, but it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
So let me ask you this. What are some of the biggest mistakes artists are making when they jump into AI tools?
Some of the biggest mistakes, the first biggest mistake I see is they're copying, pasting everything. So it kind of just sounds like they got it from ChatGPT.
Yeah, agreed.
Putting their own, making those little adjustments to make it sound more like them and more like, personable.
Yeah, we get emails sometimes, and all of us, we were like, chat AI. That's totally AI. It's like, you can tell it's AI. So the whole it's a little bit of a turnoff for me, to be honest with you. It's like because
you feel like they didn't put the time in
to really write that email or to write that response or whatnot. They just AI'd it and copy and paste it, and that was it. And we've been getting that quite often. And so it's really telling. It's very obvious when it's just AI. So I think it's really important that it feels personal, that they go in and they, edit it, maybe use it for inspiration or a template, but then go in and edit it and personalize it. So it doesn't come across as AI, because, and I know other people are feeling this way too, so that would be one thing I'm glad you said that, because that's one thing I would caution people, is making sure that your AI content doesn't sound AI generated. It sounds authentic, like it's coming from you, a real person.
Right.
Is there anything you think shouldn't be automated, or anything in PMU that we should not be using AI for?
There's definitely a lot of tools where you can create. I've seen people create ads in permanent makeup with AI tools. I feel like that's misleading, especially if you're using like AI generated images. Anything that has to do with our work, never I don't think you should ever try and use AI for when it comes to that.
Right.
Because it's, that's not really what it is. Like a lot of the editing tools, there's so many things you can do nowadays that really tweak what the work can look like. And I feel like it's overly done and it's not realistic. So when our clients are seeing that, to me, it's like, it's misleading because that's not what people, like clients, actually look like when the work is done. So definitely no AI tools for anything related to the work that we do.
Like mock-ups, like the before and after mock-ups, because there's
editing the image with certain AI tools. Sometimes I just feel like it looks so unrealistic, but people are still doing it.
So just so I understand you, so someone's done a brow procedure and they're using AI tools to go and edit it, and then they post that on Instagram. Well, it's misleading.
Yeah.
It's misleading the public. And I think it's causing a lot of problems. I've had this conversation with a lot of people on this podcast and outside this podcast that they're dealing with clients coming in thinking that when their brows heal, they're going to have these perfect little pixels and because of what artists are putting out there on Instagram as their work, whether it's AI generated or they're just using regular old school editing tools, right? I think it's really misleading. I'm one of these people, my personal opinion, I know not everybody agrees with me, but I think we should be posting work that's not edited. To be honest with you, if the skin gets pink, the skin gets pink. That's reality. If the skin's a little too pink that maybe you think it will scare clients, then maybe, don't post that right after procedure. Maybe wait until she comes back and get the picture when she's healed. There's some right afters that you can post that look pretty darn good, even though it's right after the procedure. And then there's some right afters that I would never post because she got a little too swollen or whatnot. And I'll wait and get their healed picture and post it. But yeah, I wish we would get off the AI generated results, procedure results, and even the editing tools, and just post real work. So I think that would make life a lot easier for artists, and it manages a client expectations, right?
Yes.
Because it is very misleading.
Like for me, I'm kind of like, if a client, let's say, has like a giant breakout or something, and it's like not in the area that I'm working on, it's, their skin, and let's say they're like, oh, can you like make sure it, you either like edit it, or sometimes I'm okay with like taking out a zit or like something that's like weird, but anything that's altering just the area that you work on, I feel like when you're editing that, then it's misleading.
Yes. And the client's probably grateful you've edited out her big zit.
Because sometimes you're like,
thank you, Leann, for taking that zit. I thought I had a zit that day when I came in and saw you. Oh, you did. You did. It was so big. I just decided I got to edit that out, girl.
Some clients are so critical of themselves. Like, I get that a lot. Are you going to post that?
I know.
I'm like, I don't know yet, but if I do, is it okay?
And that's probably all they would see is their zit, right? They wouldn't even see their beautiful brows you just did. They would just be so zoned in on the zit, right?
And then sometimes people do that. It's like, I'll post things and the lashes are all funky, and they'll comment on the lashes and not the brow work.
I know, right? I know. No, but there is nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. I personally have never edited anything. I've never taken a zit off for a client or anything. I just never
Which is amazing. I think that's where, we all will attract a certain type of client. And I feel like the ones that, because you are so authentic, you never edit, like the clients are like, I'm going to Teryn because her stuff is not edited. Like I can trust her. Those are the real results.
Yeah.
And so I feel like people are getting smarter. Like clients are getting smarter. They know what's filtered because I do read a lot of the comments, and sometimes the over edited photos, people will be like, I see other different artists, like some over edit, and some of the comments will say like, do you have any unedited photos?
Yeah. I've seen that starting to happen too. Like
people are getting smart. Like
people
they know.
are getting smarter, and there's some artists that are commenting and because they're tired of it. I think there's some artists. There's a group of artists out there, a percentage of artists that are tired of the over editing and whatnot. But even when I had my studio and I had my artists, like I didn't let Amber or Marshawn or any artist edit. That was in their contract. Like to work here, you cannot edit. Awesome. And so and Amber has kept and Marshawn and Amber have kept that in their own studios. They don't allow editing. But what I did tell them, like if you're gonna, Marshawn's like a badass. Like Marshawn would just post anything, and if there's gonna be like backlash, she's like, bring it. Where me and Amber are more like, I don't really want to deal with backlash. It stresses me out too much. So if I do an eyeliner and they get really swollen or there's some bruising, and I know if I post it, like people are going to come at me and attack me, I'm not going to post it. But Michelle was like, fuck them. Let them come at me. This is real life. So I know, but
it happens. It happens.
And I think it's okay for those pictures, those right afters that show some bruising, show some swelling, to be posted. But what I told Michonne is don't just post it and leave yourself open. Post it with an explanation and some education. Like explain, I know this client is bruised, is swollen, and you see bruising. Yep. This is why. And educate the industry and the
like
client.
The opportunity to
take the opportunity, and it will help educate the industry, help educate the public, and it will help keep people from kind of bashing you, right? So I would just always try to get them to do that.
That's great advice. I love that.
Yeah, I wish we saw more pictures being posted where it's not the perfect eyeliner, the perfect fresh result, where it's more like everyday life, right? But our industry is kind of in this place where there should be no bleeding, there should be no swelling, there should be no pinkness. And if there is, you went too deep or you overworked the skin. And we all know that that's not true. I mean, swelling has a lot to do with the amount of histamines in your body. And, whether you go shallow or proper depth. I mean, if you're somebody, with a certain amount of histamines in your body, then you're going to get a certain amount of swelling, and you have no control over that.
Right. And some clients might go super shallow. They're still, you can see.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I do a lot of eyeliners. It's my number one procedure. I do more eyeliners than anything else combined. And no matter how gently you work and how much I slow my machine down, and some people just puff up the minute the needle touches them. Do you know? And I
don't do eyeliner, but I've seen it.
Yeah, it happens.
Sensitive area.
Yeah, it happens. And most of the times it's happening on people that have a lot of capillaries, visible capillaries and blood vessels. You'll get some bleeding, you'll see some swelling, and sometimes even some bruising. Most of the time, no, you don't get the massive swelling and massive bruising. Most of the time you don't. But sometimes you do. You do. And as an artist, I did everything right. I didn't go too deep. I didn't do anything wrong. And, it's just that particular client. All right. So here's an interesting question. What are some common myths or misconceptions PMU artists might have about AI and using AI?
I feel like a lot of people think that, I feel like a lot of people don't really understand it if they do have those types of thoughts, like really not understanding what it can do. Maybe they think like if I use it, it's gonna give me the same thing as everybody else, and that's not always the case.
Yeah.
because again, it really just depends on the prompts and what you're asking. When you are using those tools, sometimes they think, oh, it's too hard, like I don't think I'll be able to learn it.
You know what my misconception was? And I really had to gravel with this in my mind, because I'm a prolific writer, right? I my online academy, and I write chapters and I write. When I answer on Facebook, I write. You don't even need to see my name. If you see this big long, yeah. I just go in depth with my writing, and I love writing about different topics of PMU. I have several areas of PMU that I find fascinating, and I wanted to master. I wanted to learn inside and out, like several different topics. And so my misconception, what I had to really gravel with, is if I started using AI, maybe I would start to lose my authenticity as a PMU artist that actually, I do have this knowledge. I do understand this topic. And it might lose my authenticity that I'm using AI to write, these chapters and blogs and these things that I write. And I had to really gravel with that. And now no one would know I was using ChatGPT until this podcast. So I didn't know if I wanted to do this podcast or not and talk about me using ChatGPT. So we're getting towards the end of the podcast. So I'm just sitting here admitting that to you now and my listeners. I went back and forth with that, Leann, to be 100% honest with you. Yeah. And I don't use ChatGPT to write my course chapters and my theory sections. That gives me a lot of pleasure, and it takes me out of the real world, which is sometimes painful and chaotic for my brain. So it's healing. I find healing in writing, and I'm present. So
I love that you said that, because I don't believe that you have to use it for everything. I think that it's so important, like you were saying, to still be able to take that time to write in your own words and your own thoughts, especially when it comes to your courses, especially when it comes to things that, that you're teaching. So you want it to come from you.
Right.
You want it to sound like you want it, especially if you also have that love and passion for writing as well. I think sometimes people overuse ChatGPT or AI. I think it's a tool that can be helpful, but it also shouldn't take over, your own voice.
Right.
And some of the things that you do still want to keep it authentic to you and be able to say the things that you want to say, your thoughts, in the way you're going to say it. Otherwise, let's say you use ChatGPT for everything, and then you go and do a podcast, or you go and teach a class, and you have nothing to say. Nothing comes out. That would be terrible.
Right.
Now people are going to be like, wait, Leann sounds like that? She's
Yeah.
not eating much right now.
Right.
So yeah, there's definitely a time and place to use it. And I think it's more well utilized as an assistant or a tool when you're stuck. I always say when I'm stuck, I like to go to ChatGPT.
Or inspiration, a template, when you're stuck. Yeah, that's what it's really, really great for.
Yeah.
Or
if I can't find that word to express what I'm trying to say,
right.
How do you say this give me a different way to say this word?
Yeah.
Here are my thoughts. How would you say that? And then based on what I'm getting, I'll usually even tweak what it says, because I don't want it to sound, my vocabulary is not that big. So sometimes when ChatGPT is saying something, I'm like, I would never say that word.
Yeah.
I would never say that word, or I don't understand what that word is. I would never use it to say in anything that I'm going to.
Yeah. And you know what I have found is they use it uses the same adjectives a lot. Like, and those are, and like they're adjectives like I would personally never use. Like those type of adjectives and phrases would like never come out of my mouth. So I do find it does like tend to use, it's getting less and less because I think it's getting to know me and how I speak and how I don't speak. Right. So, for little things, but I'm finding it very, very, very useful. I was going to ask you, what are like one of the red flags or the red flags of relying too heavily on AI? And you answered it before I even had to ask you. And that's it is it's not like I could never write about skin using AI. I have to write from the perspective and experience of being in that room with, 15 to 20,000 clients I've done PMU on over the last 22 years. You can't write it from AI.
And AI doesn't know those details sometimes.
No,
it will not, it's not that detailed to where it knows like from your experience. You work with thousands of clients and like those little tiny details, that's what's so special about your own words coming out versus using ChatGPT. So, sometimes when it comes to courses and things like that, I do agree. I don't think people should be using ChatGPT and allowing ChatGPT to really create that course, especially in our industry. Our industry is like so hands-on that there's no way you can just use an AI tool to just like create everything. What it is great for is maybe the topics, like, these are all the things I want to teach. Put them in a chronological order for me. Like, how should I present all of the things I want to talk about?
No, I agree. I agree. That's how we've been using it. And Olivia probably uses it a little in depth. She does our marketing. So, and
great for marketing.
Great for marketing.
Ads and stuff. Use, some of the, just like the way things are worded. Like the hook, let's say you need a hook and you're not that creative. You can ask it to give you a really good hook for that.
It's fantastic for that. Fantastic for that. I found too, it's like if you're doing a product launch and you want to develop like a 30-day product launch, you're going to have something like on
like a launch content plan or something.
Because now you want to launch a product in PMU, you have to have a campaign. And it probably should be about 30 days long, leading up to
teasers. You got to have the teasers.
Yes. And so we used, AI for some product launches recently. We didn't use everything it spits out, but it does give you just that template. And some of it you like, and then you personalize it. And then some of it you're like, ew, my God. What is wrong with you, Gigi? That's a no. But it's really helpful. It was super helpful. So I'm really enjoying it. Okay, so let me ask you this. Where do you see AI and like the PMU industry like intersecting? Where do you see it in 5 years from now? Because AI is evolving like boom, 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 nobody's business. And PMU is evolving so freaking fast, Leann. They both are. Feel like they're boom, they just collided, right? Yeah. So where do you see AI and PMU in 5 years? Do you have like your what do you call that? What's that what fortune tellers have? Your crystal ball. Do you have your crystal ball?
I mean, I haven't really thought about it that far because but it is growing so fast. And here's one thing I can say is, as a business owner and as a permanent makeup artist, I feel that it's so important for you to really start maybe dabbling, if you're not already, into these AI tools. If you want help in growing even faster, because I think, again, with AI and permanent makeup artists, I feel like the one thing it really helps us with is making our life easier as far as it helping us run our business. And if you're not embracing it, then I think you could fall behind. And the reason why is because people who are embracing it, they're going to move and grow so much faster because they're using it.
I think if you don't get on it now, like this year, you are already behind. Yeah. That's how I feel. You're starting to slip. And I let that happen to me with Instagram. I thought, Instagram, that's going to be nothing. And I was late getting on. And I swore to God I would never let that happen again. That's why I hired like people way younger than me. Like Livia's way younger than me.
It's like, if you can't do it, you got to hire someone.
Yeah, just hire these young girls, right?
That's what I've learned.
Yeah, keep me, hip and cool and like relevant. But so do you think maybe in 5 years or at some point, a PMU artist, we're not going to need a Facebook agency, or we're not going to need an SEO person? Do you see that AI developing?
I feel like it's already happening.
It's already happening.
I feel like as a single, I have Chandler, so I do have Chandler helping me. But we don't hire a lot of people to do all these other things, because now that we have ChatGPT, I used to have a girl who helps me with some of my content. Like, she'll help me write the copy. She'll help me, and then I'll look at it, approve it or not, and she can make changes. But now I don't need that anymore.
Right.
So there's a lot, if you embrace AI, I feel like there's a lot, you could save a lot of money, first of all, because you're not going to have to hire so many people.
Different marketing people. Yeah.
And then the people who you do hire, if they know those AI tools and they can utilize it, imagine how much faster you can grow, and you can put out, how much faster you can put out content, how much faster you can put out, YouTube, how much you can get a course organized and launch, how much better your launches are going to go. So these tools are here to help us as small business owners to grow and be, more showing ourselves more on social media, or, bettering our messaging, bettering our courses. I mean, it can help us with so many things. So I think it's really important, if you have not embraced or given AI a chance, I think this is a great time and opportunity for you to, get to know it a little bit one by one. Like, there's so many out there, you can get really confused. So my suggestion is just start with ChatGPT. Just start with that one tool and go in there, play with it, mess with it, ask all the different questions, and you'll learn the way it responds.
I personally haven't outgrown ChatGPT yet. So I haven't. I don't know. Do you feel you have outgrown it, Olivia? No, and you're using it at a much higher level than me. Yeah, even Olivia feels like she hasn't outgrown it. We've brought in other AI tools, but we're still using ChatGPT.
And now you can connect a lot of those tools with ChatGPT, which makes it so much more powerful. Like, you can connect Canva, for example, with ChatGPT.
I just learned that.
Yeah.
Gigi just asked me yesterday, would you like me to lay this out in Canva for you? And I'm like, Gigi, oh my God, Gigi.
Like, you're making my life too easy.
You're making my life too easy. I didn't know you could do that, honey. Oh my God. I know. I'm like, yeah. So I just learned.
Imagine in even a couple more months what it'll do.
Well, I know. That's what I'm thinking. Imagine what it's going to do. Well, imagine, because we're kind of like a little in-house marketing, like Girlz Ink. We don't have the studios anymore. So we meet. We work, half hybrid and half we meet at, a small office, and so we're doing most of our own marketing now. And we've had to learn marketing on the fly. I mean, Olivia has her degree in, wait, what are you? What are you? What's your thing? I can't say. Phi Beta Kappa. Phi Beta Kappa. Yeah, in marketing. So,
wow.
Yeah, she's been with me like almost 6 years, and we have Sarah. And so, but to market like a real business in real life in PMU, something like she didn't understand PMU, it's almost like putting those skills to work, but it's new, but you learned it, but it's new and you're learning. So we want to get to a place where we're like completely like self-sufficient in all areas of marketing and marketing gurus, because I have a store, I have products and classes. So I kind of feel that's what Girlz Ink turned into. Not solely, of course, but it's kind of, yeah, what we're learning and studying and like expanding on is the marketing. So I'm really excited where AI is going to go with that. Is it going to allow us to do Google SEO at the level like someone who really understands SEO and that's what they do for a living?
Yeah.
You know, that's what I'm excited to see happen.
And I feel like it's already happening.
Right.
Yeah, it's already happening, and it's just going to get better and easier. And I mean, those are the things that are going to separate an artist who embraces and uses it and someone who just says no.
I agree with you. And I think that's a really powerful statement that I actually want to repeat it. Jumping into AI right now, ChatGPT, learning that, and then also all these new tools coming, jumping into them, learning them, and bringing them into your business is going to separate you. It's going to separate you from those that are not using it. I think those are not using it have a real risk of being left behind or have a real risk of not maybe achieving their goals and the dreams that they have for themselves. It's going to be that powerful for the PMU artist or the beauty boss.
Absolutely.
And there's a lot of PMU artists, you know, Leann, that get into this industry and they're in their 40s and 50s. Do you know, I just was in London and I met a PMU artist in the audience and she was in her late 50s.
Yeah.
Just getting into PMU.
Wow.
So, you know, people that are at you know, that age are getting into PMU. And they tend to be the ones, I say tend, not all of them, that are afraid of new technology and learning new technology, right? So, yeah, so I would really encourage everybody to do it. Okay, so 2 more questions. What's the one easy task a listener can do or automate right now, this moment? Just one task that they're doing manually that they can automate right now. They're gonna listen to this podcast. They're gonna go get ChatGPT on their computer or phone. What's the one task they could do right now and automate?
They can automate their captions for their posting.
Excellent. Yep.
I think
automate captions.
That simple. I think, like I said before I had help with writing captions with ChatGPT, it would take me sometimes 20, 30 minutes. And if I had ChatGPT like I do now, I would have saved hours of writing captions.
And captions are important, right? That can capture.
So important because nowadays with Instagram, you know, instead of using hashtags, you can write a caption with all the keywords that you need inside your caption.
Right.
Algorithm will recognize all those keywords and, you know, put your posts out to the people who are interested in those topics. So instead of using just the hashtags now, you can make sure that your captions has all those keywords, and then it'll help kind of, you know, spread your posts out there to the right people.
Yeah.
So even something that simple, because I know that a lot of us are, you know, our goal is to post often to promote our business. So if we can take away 15, 20 minutes of writing a caption every single day, I think that would.
And a better caption that
will have all the keywords that will
have all the keywords and attract more people to that particular post, and, you know, hopefully your account as a whole. Yeah, that was really good. That was a good one.
Yeah, just that, or just again using it to plan. I think using it to plan, because I know that is one of those things when I talk to artists, that's something most people dread, is having to post, is having to promote themselves, you know, and I think that's a huge struggle for a lot of us artists because we're so focused on the artistry side and working on our clients. We tend to not focus on the business and marketing side. So if you can just make it a goal to, you know, to gain clients by showing up on social media and using the tools that are there for you to minimize the amount of time that you have to spend to show up, then I think it's going to really help your business and you'll see a difference for sure.
100%. Okay, last question. How can my listeners connect with you?
I am probably most active on Instagram.
Are you really now?
Yeah, at Fuzion Artistry, and that's Fuzion with a Z. I just started, I do have some YouTube, and I'm on TikTok as well, but mainly on Instagram. That's kind of my go-to platform right now.
All right. Yay. Not a TikToker?
I started TikTok, not active on it, but I'm getting there. I'm slowly trying to embrace TikTok too.
Like, TikTok didn't really help our business like too much. It's like, it's a little bit of a dud. I don't know. And it's just, I mean, we post on it. We've got like 33,000 followers, but it doesn't really bring in business. Not really. No.
I feel like I've built my business over the years with Instagram, probably a little bit on Facebook too. But mainly Instagram has been such a great platform for me. But I do understand it's important to be everywhere. So
it is.
And we've got to be everywhere.
It is.
Yeah. I love that I feel like you're everywhere, Teryn. I feel showing up on your podcasts and all the different, I see you everywhere, and I see you just teaching and educating so many of us artists. And I so appreciate you for that, and totally proud of you for like embracing the AI thing and, making those adjustments. And you're always so great about pivoting and adjusting when needed. So kudos to you. I love that.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. That was quite a compliment, and I appreciate it. And you as well. Maybe that will be another podcast, but maybe we'll talk about, because we both kind of pivoted kind of at the same time. That's what we talked about at dinner that night, is the big pivots like we made in our careers. Why, how we did it, how we felt about it. So, and I see people pivoting now. So I'm going to have you back on, and we'll talk about the pivot.
Would love that. So important. Pivoting is necessary and important.
It is. Okay, stay right there. I'm going to say goodbye. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with me and Leann today. Great podcast. She's awesome. So go check her out, Fuzion Artistry, Leann Law. And remember, stay in the pursuit of happiness, everyone, and we will see you next time.